All right. First off, ladies and gentlemen, for anybody who cares, so sorry for the super long wait. I'm not going to get into details, but today was a really long day. That's an understatement. I didn't even get home until about like 7:30-ish my time. So it's been a long day. And even before I went live, I had to kick the dogs out of the room and get everything prepped. And it was just a long day. You guys get it, right? You're human beings. Most of you are, I assume. And I hope you understand why it took so long to go live. But anyways, you guys don't care about that. You guys are here because after about a week, 11 days to be exact, it is actually official that Frank Vogel has been fired or, quote, dismissed. And I have pretty much the same thoughts that I did when I first saw the news. I was at work and my phone started vibrating and I was like, uh-oh, and I checked my phone real quick and first thing I see, Frank Vogel has been dismissed, been fired. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about and we have a lot to react to. And today's show, we are lucky enough to have a little bit of help from behind the scenes, but I do want to get him on just for a minute so he can say hello, because it is, first off, I'm thankful to have any help on this channel, but he's going to be pressing some buttons for us. He's going to be helping us out. And yes, he has been on this channel before. He will be in the background for most of it, though. And I'm going to bring on our guest, our producer extraordinaire, Casey. How you doing, my brother? What is up, man?
Hi.
Great.
All right,
well,
how you
thanks
doing?
for helping out, man.
Yeah, cool. Kick me out. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Seriously, thank you for your help today. Like I said, you guys, Casey's just going to be pressing some buttons, helping me out. That way the show goes a little bit smoother. You guys already know the drill, though.
Hopefully.
If there might be, hopefully it goes smooth. I was telling Casey before we went live, I was like, man, this is going to be the greatest live show of all time because of the long day that I've had. So hopefully everything goes smooth. So seriously, Casey, thank you for wasting your time to help me out. And I do appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it is wasteful, isn't it? So.
And Casey, at the end of this live show, we'll make sure put the links and all that, and everybody can find you. I'll put your link and all that, you know, your Twitter and all that good stuff, your social security number and all that good stuff.
Routing number, checking account number, all that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll post it on the screen.
But I do appreciate you, Casey. So I'm going to let you go real quick and we will get started. So thank you again, Casey. All right, you guys. Okay. So real quick, before we kind of dive into the story, if you will, I kind of just want to give my first thoughts. And just a heads up, this show and my thoughts are going to literally be all over the place. And that is an understatement. We have so much to talk about. And that's why I feel a little bad that I was like the last person to talk about this in a way, because I know some other Sons podcasts and channels have gone live. But the fact that you guys are still listening to me really does mean a lot. I appreciate you guys. And yeah. Okay, so my thoughts, finally, after like 5-6 minutes. Unless somebody truly deserves it, like they do something to lose their job, I do not wish for anybody to lose their job because I don't want to lose my job. So I feel a little bad for Frank Vogel. I really do. On a personal level, I feel bad. And I know I sound crazy for saying that. I know I sound like I'm in my feelings for saying that. But I'll be honest with you guys. I sort of have mixed feelings on this firing. I know that's crazy of me to say. But I have some mixed thoughts on it. I really do. And I was honestly thinking about, like, as the days went on after the elimination, which was Sunday, by the way, it was 11 days ago. I was like, man, like, is Frank Vogel really going to get fired or not? Because I know that James Jones and Matt Ishbia had talked to the media and everything, but I was like, man, like, are they going to fire him? Like, this is taking like a little bit long. And I guess we now know why it took so long for Frank Vogel to be fired. And again, I'll have some more thoughts on the actual firing and some other topics that go along with that. But what we're going to react to first here is the ESPN story. So my producer extraordinaire, Casey, if you are able to pull that up, which you already did, here is part of the story. So obviously, you know, after it was announced, Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN said that Mike Budenholzer is a top coaching target and, quote, is emerging. And this is moving fast. And that's another topic, another thing that we're going to kind of talk about is like a lot of this is moving fast. Like, don't be surprised if like in the next 48 hours, maybe 72 hours or less, we get an official announcement that Mike Budenholzer, Coach Bud, is going to be the next coach of the Phoenix Suns. So Woj's story goes on to say, and I know that this part isn't on the screen right here, but I'm just going to read it to you guys anyways. Mike Budenholzer has emerged as the Phoenix Suns target to become the franchise's next coach, and discussions are expected to move rapidly towards a deal, sources told ESPN on Thursday. And that makes me kind of think of something. Like, I wonder if that is kind of what took so long. And there was one video that Woj shared. He was talking to Malika Andrews. And we're going to talk about this later, but I do want to mention it right off the bat. Is that he said that the Suns met with players, which I'm sure they probably just talked over the phone because none of those guys are in town right now. But he said they met with players and other Suns personnel. So, again, going to talk about that later, but I'm just kind of wondering, like, did Devin Booker, did Kevin Durant, did Bradley Beal have a say in this? And again, I'm going to talk about that later, but I really do wonder if they were called. I'm pretty sure they were. And I wonder if Matt Ishbia and James Jones said, hey, is Frank Vogel the right guy for the job next season or not? And again, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But I just wanted to give you guys those quick thoughts. So as you can see on the screen right here, and this is kind of the part I wanted to start with, Budenholzer is poised to become the franchise's third head coach in a three-season run that has included owner Matt Ishbia firing Monty Williams and Vogel in successive years. Vogel had 4 years left on his contract, and the cost of a $200 million plus payroll only gets steeper with the $20 million plus left on Vogel's deal, and what is expected to be a deal for the most accomplished head coaching candidate available in the marketplace. And as you guys know by now, Mike Budenholzer is from Arizona. His father is a well-regarded high school coach in the state. Budenholzer won the 2021 NBA championship with the Milwaukee Bucks against your Phoenix Suns, by the way, in case you forgot. He had his previous record, 271 wins, coaching wins, and 120 losses in 5 seasons with the Milwaukee Bucks, and a 213-197 record in his previous years with the Atlanta Hawks. He's only 54 years old and is a 2-time Coach of the Year in the 2014-15 and 2018-19 seasons. So, first off, and I'm going to lower that. I'm going to take that off the screen right now. But first off, let me just say this. I think it's good. No, it's not good. It's great, in my opinion, my personal opinion. I think it's great that this was already in the works. And that's kind of what I was trying to reference a few minutes ago, when I said, when I was like, oh crap, like Frank Vogel might be the next, or not the next head coach. He might be with the Phoenix Suns next season. I was like, what is taking so long? Because, you guys already know this, but not Frank Vogel, coaches always go first. Like when they sign their contract, they already know that. as we just saw, like Darvin Ham of the Lakers just got let go. And it was pretty quickly after the Lakers got eliminated. I have some thoughts on that, by the way, but we'll save that till later. Coaches know this. This is nothing new. We're in the year 2024. Coaches have been getting fired for years now, especially when they're a championship contender and their team doesn't succeed. I mean, who was it? Like Dwayne Casey, who like won Coach of the Year, I believe, and then got fired like the next season or something like that. So this is nothing normal. And, you know, I was texting one of my good friends, Thunder Steve. You guys know him. And I was like, I kind of feel a little bad for Frank Vogel. And he's like, don't feel bad. He's like, he's going to have that next $20 million for the next 4 years or whatever. And he's going to just be chilling. You know what I mean? And I really do wish Frank Vogel the best. Like, I never met Frank Vogel. I probably never will meet Frank Vogel. He really does seem like a good guy. And I hope one day he is coaching in the league again. I really do. I think he would make a great assistant coach. Heck, who knows? He might even make a great front office person. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to be like a next GM or anything, but like have a role in the front office. But I kind of low-key do feel bad, and I hope that he does have a future coaching gig, but I do not blame Frank Vogel if he doesn't coach for the next 5 to 6 years and just takes all of his money and just chills and unwinds. I don't blame him. I would do the same thing if I was in his shoes. So I wish him the best. Now, I don't want to sit here and pretend like I'm a Mike Budenholzer expert, because I am far from that. But from his resume, from his pedigree, whatever you want to call it, I think that this is the right move. And that is kind of why I think, even though there was like a week delay, like a week's worth of a delay, that I think that this was happening quickly behind the scenes. That probably from the moment the season ended, they were on the phones targeting Mike Budenholzer and whoever else was a candidate. Because clearly this is the name that's getting all the, again, this could happen in the next 48 hours. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure he was like their number one target. And I think that that's a good thing. So it's good that they at least have a vision and they have a direction. And again, I have some more thoughts on this. This isn't all just on Mike Budenholzer. I have a lot more thoughts, you guys, but it's good that Suns fans, at least we have a name and he has a great resume. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, real quick, you guys, like I said, this live show is going to be all over the place. So Mike Budenholzer, real quick. I already mentioned the championship. I already mentioned the coach of the years. By the way, he's a 2-time all-star head coach. And one thing that I think that gets overlooked here, you guys, I don't know if other Suns podcasts are talking about this a lot or not. And this stuff kind of matters to me. Mike Budenholzer has been coaching in the NBA since 1996. Guys, I was like 8 years old or something like that in 1996. And not only does he have the championship that beat the Phoenix Suns, but he has 4 championships as an assistant coach, all with the San Antonio Spurs, which I believe was 99, 2003, 2005, and the other one. So that's a lot of experience, and that might get overlooked. Casey, whenever you get a moment, if you could pull up the basketball reference page, I would really appreciate it. I think I sent that to you. I don't know if I did. Actually, I'll do that. I'll do the basketball reference page. If you guys want an actual full resume, by the way, of Mike Budenholzer, I'm going to pull it up right now. Let me just remove this. Like I said, guys, we had a little bit of help today. Shout out to my guy Casey helping us out, but I'm gonna do this part of the producing here. Oops, I just clicked the wrong button. Messing up here already. So yeah, as you can see, Mike Budenholzer, 54 years old, from Arizona, Holbrook, Arizona, by the way. And let's check out the actual resume here. Let's get Nikola Jokic off of our screen. Okay. Let me move this over to Here we go. Okay. So like I said, you guys, since 1996, look at that. Look how many years he was with the Spurs. Look at that, you guys. And again, they've won what, 5 championships, I believe? Ow, my ear hurts. Sorry, guys. Something's happening to my ear. But anyways, that's a lot of years coaching, you guys. And I think that really, like, I hope that doesn't get overlooked. I really hope it doesn't get overlooked. Look at the coaching record. Look at the numbers there. He's coached in over 800 games, and he's won 484 of them. That's a great record. 5 seasons with the Hawks, 5 seasons with the Bucks, and then tons of years with the Spurs. That is a great resume, you guys. And again, like I said, I don't know at this exact moment how he's going to coach us, what our coaching staff is going to look like, what our roster is going to look like, but I like the resume. I really do. And I think that all of his years of coaching need to be it needs to not be overlooked. This guy's been coaching for a very long time, and I think that is very important. The numbers speak for themselves. The resume speaks for itself. And I think I'm excited. So I really hope that this coaching job for Mike Budenholzer goes through. Fun fact, too, I'm sure a lot of older Suns fans might remember this. And I don't blame Mike Budenholzer for, not accepting the job. But I want to say it was maybe in the 2016-17 season or something like that. Because I remember I made a short video about it. He was in the running for a coaching job in Phoenix, and obviously was smart and didn't take it. I think that's when he went to the Bucks, if I remember correctly. But he was in the running for one of our coaches back in the day before we got good. So smart of him to not do it, obviously, because we weren't good back then. We didn't have Chris Paul. You guys know all that, but I just thought that was a fun little fact. But let's keep going, you guys. Okay, more thoughts here. Again, my thoughts are all over the place here. There's so much I want to talk about. Ooh, I forgot to talk about this too, you guys. I don't know why I didn't start with this. And Casey, we're going to kind of improvise here. But let's talk about the quote that James Jones had. And I believe I took a screenshot of it. So Casey, I'll take care of this part right here. I completely forgot to pull this up earlier. This was James Jones's quote from the Suns release today. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of my water and then we'll read this. So here is the quote from Suns GM James Jones, and I have some thoughts on James Jones in a minute. And I'm going to read this to you guys as best as I possibly can. As we said in the press conference on May 1st, team leadership, including myself, Josh Bartelstein, who's our CEO, and ownership would be looking across basketball operations to determine what changes need to be made, said Suns president of basketball ops and general manager James Jones. After a thoughtful review of the season, we concluded that we needed a different head coach for our team. We appreciate Frank's hard work and commitment. Ouch. We are here to win a championship, and last season was way below our expectations. More thoughts on that in a minute. We will continue to evaluate our operation and make the necessary changes to reach our championship caliber goals. We all take accountability, and it's my job along with Josh's. Actually, let me lower this before I read the bottom part of the quote because my thing is blocking it. Sorry, we all take accountability, and it's my job along with Josh and ownerships to build a championship team. So, couple of quick thoughts with that quote here from James Jones. Again, this is James Jones saying this quote. That looks better on the screen, by the way. But anyways, somebody brought this up. It might have been Espo from PHNX, or somebody brought it up on Twitter. I think I retweeted it. So, and I guess I don't blame them for saying otherwise, but during that press conference on May 1st, which, by the way, I was live on my channel that day reacting to it, Matt Ishbia and James Jones said that the Suns did a great job this season. And, they did a phenomenal job. But then here's James Jones's quote saying things like, the last season was way below our expectations. We will all take accountability. It's my job, along with Josh and ownership, to build a championship team. So, like, a lot of mixed messaging there. But again, I don't blame James Jones and Matt Ishbia for getting up on stage and saying, yeah, we did great this season. They're not going to sit there and be like, oh, this season was terrible and Suns fans should be panicking. They're not going to do that. And you know what? In all defense to them, that's why I was so optimistic during that press conference. Let me just lower this real quick. Sorry. That's why I was so optimistic during that press conference. Because first off, I was so deflated. And that's an understatement. I was heartbroken. I was, you know the words. I was just broke apart after the Suns getting eliminated and swept. And then, let's see, it was April 28th. It was like 3 days later, like a couple days later, Matt Ishbia and James Jones get on the presser. And you guys know Matt Ishbia, fast talking. And he was so optimistic about the Phoenix Suns. And maybe I'm easily influenced, but I felt a little better after that presser. And I was trying to be as positive as I could when I was reacting to their press conference. And I hope, even though I can be a little, and this is coming from somebody who's very optimistic here, so it's kind of weird that I'm saying this. At times, I can be a little negative. I can be a little toxic. I'll admit that. I really will. I sometimes I am part of the problem in the Suns community, especially on Suns Twitter. Sometimes I'm a little too negative and defensive. And, I'll be real with you guys, but that's because I truly do love this team. Basketball is my favorite sport. And this is just what I do. I talk about the Phoenix Suns as a fan on YouTube. Like, this is what I do. You know what I mean? And I guess where I'm going with that is, after I was heartbroken, it felt really good for our owner to say all those positive things about the Suns and to, how do I say this? I feel like he took some accountability, but he also said, like, don't panic, Suns fans. Like, we are going to do our best to fix this and get us back on track and to win a championship. You know what I mean? And again, that's why I appreciate it. But that's why there's kind of a little bit of mixed messaging here. And again, I'll pull this up if you want to pause this later and read it, or just go on Twitter. It's on there. But here is the quote from James Jones, Suns GM. And look, you guys, as I said when I first started this show, I do not wish for anybody to lose their job. But I have a question, and I think it's a fair question. I've seen it in the chat, and I said this a couple days ago, and I think I said it when we lost on the live shows. I have a serious question. Is James Jones now on the hot seat? Don't blame me for saying that, y'all. I'm serious. Like, is James Jones on the hot seat? Because remember how I said I have some thoughts about the Lakers firing Darvin Ham? Somebody said it a few days ago, and I wish I remember who it was because I really loved the tweet. But it was like, when does Rob Pelinka, who's the Lakers GM, president, or whatever, when does Rob Pelinka start taking the fall instead of the coaches? And I feel like now that's where James Jones kind of needs to be. Like, is James Jones on the hot seat now? If we fast forward to late May of 2025, I had to think about that for a minute. I didn't know what year we were in. If we fast forward to May 2020, I'm going to take my headphones off. If we fast forward to May of 2025 or June or whatever, and we fail and we do not win a championship, let's say we lose in like the Western Finals next year, right? Does James Jones lose his job? I wouldn't blame Matt Ishbia and the Suns if they do. And again, I do not wish for anybody to lose their job. But when do general managers and when do like, the basketball operations and the front office people start taking the fall for their team's success? But look, you guys, as I've kind of been saying, this isn't all just on Mike Budenholzer. This isn't all on Matt Ishbia. Because I'm gonna save a lot of my thought. Like, actually, I worded that poorly. A lot of the off-season discussion, at least you're gonna hear from me. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. A lot of the off-season stuff I'm gonna talk about is the leadership from Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. You're going to hear me talk about that a lot this offseason, especially as the coaching staff gets hired and during free agency. You're going to hear me talk a lot about that. But guess what, you guys? It's not just me. I know the national media has been talking about it. Other Suns podcasts have been talking about it. This was the first year that I finally opened up my eyes and said, man, like, Devin Booker has to be a better leader. Kevin Durant has to be a better leader. And even though I love Bradley Beal's honesty, Bradley Beal is one of the most, you guys know me, I'm a very honest person. Bradley Beal is way more honest than I am. We need more leadership from Bradley Beal. He can be all honest that he wants, but we need better leadership from him. And whoever comes back next season, Grayson Allen, let's just say Royce O'Neal gets brought back, right? That's not official yet, but let's just say he gets brought back. We need better leadership from him. But guess what, you guys? It's not just on them either. We might need better assistant coaches. And the guys behind, and girls, guys and women behind the scenes, we might need better leadership from them. And who knows? We might even need better leadership from James Jones. I mean, he is the GM. He is the president of basketball operations. But I think a lot of it really does come down to whoever is on our roster. Like, I don't want to hear next season or this upcoming season, I don't want to hear Kevin Durant say, coach is the leader. Coach leads us. Nah. You have to be on the court leading those guys, Mr. Top 10 all-time Kevin Durant. Devin Booker, you literally are the franchise of this team. You are a franchise guy. You need to be leading the team, Devin Booker. And hell, let's just pretend we get a point guard. I have some more thoughts on that in a minute. Let's pretend we actually get a point guard. Whoever that point guard is, you need to be leading this team. Leadership is going to be a big conversation all off season long, headed into next season, and heck, maybe even a year from now. We need better leaders on this team. And you know what? That's another reason I kind of feel bad for Frank Vogel. Like, yeah, he had his flaws as a coach. And yes, the season was a disaster. It was disappointing, blah, blah, blah. You've heard me say all this. But like, if that story that was published about like when Frank Vogel blew up on them and one player had to hold themselves back from laughing, first off, I want to know who that player is. Secondly, grow the hell up, that player. 3, like, is it really all on Frank Vogel if players are like laughing at him because he blew up on them because they got embarrassed by the Clippers? Like, that just shows how broken the locker room was, how we weren't a mature team, and the leadership of our team. And again, like, I know things happen behind closed doors and maybe that story was exaggerated, but like, you guys saw it all season. You saw the collapses. You saw the poor, I don't even want to say poor, well, yeah, it is poor leadership, but like, you saw the poor execution and how there was no like Chris Paul out there, for example. There was no like quarterback, if you will. I don't know, you guys. We just need better leadership. And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I'm going to talk about that so much this off season. And like, I hate to preach to you guys, but like, I'm assuming a lot of you have jobs out there. It's like, if your manager or boss or I don't know, whoever, teacher or something like that isn't leading and they're not setting you up for success, or let's say if you play sports, like you're a wide receiver and your quarterback is not listening to you and they're not throwing you the ball and they're not communicating with you, your team's probably going to fail. And then management above all these bosses and teachers and players and all that, like, if they're not communicating and they're not leading, your team is going to fail. I'm sorry to preach to you guys, but that's how I view it. So let's keep going on here, you guys. Speaking of Devin Booker, because we mentioned him a few minutes ago. And look, I don't want to fully blame this because it's not really, well, how do I say this? This isn't all Devin Booker's fault. Devin Booker has had 6 coaches in the last 9 seasons, or it's like 7 coaches in the last 10 seasons, or whatever it is. He's had a lot of coaches in the last 10 seasons. Crazy to think that Devin Booker's almost been in the league 10 years now. That's a lot of coaches, but you can't fault just Devin Booker for that, because you got to remember a lot of those coaches were during the dark days. So a lot of this conversation has kind of been more focused on the last 4 years. So it's been Monty Williams, obviously now Frank Vogel, and Mike Budenholzer, ? Maybe, probably. I'm pretty confident if Woj is reporting on it, then it's going to happen. Because again, I really feel like a lot of these signings, coaches discussions, NBA free agency, I feel like a lot of this stuff happens like a week prior to us finding out about it. I think that's a real thing. And I think that's what kind of took so long. Even though it was only like 11 days, it felt a lot longer than 11 days. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was sitting here and I was like, dude, I have like no videos to make. There's like nothing to talk about until something actually happens. Like, yeah, I could have gotten on here and talked about whatever, but I was just like, I want to wait till something actually happens, you know? And we got a bombshell today. So, by the way, guys, Bobby Marks had this tweet, and I didn't pull it up or anything, Casey, but I did put it in my notes here. Including the next head coach in Phoenix, Kevin Durant's had 5 head coaches since 20, or I don't know how he worded it, but Kevin Durant's had 5 head coaches. Devin Booker's had 7, and Bradley Beal's had 5. And I'll just say this too. Another thing I took notes on. Thank you, Mark Jackson. I appreciate you being here, man. And thank you to everybody that's here. By the way, you guys, real quick, just crush the like button, share the show. You already know the drill. Thank you all for being here. And thank you to my producer extraordinaire, Casey, for being here as well. But anyways, another thing I took notes on, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this. In my personal opinion, you can only, thank you, Casey, for pulling that up. You can only blame injuries so much. I really do believe that. You can only blame the injury so much. And look, maybe there's a world where we were pretty much healthy and we still lose in the first round or even the second round and Frank Vogel still gets fired. Maybe that's a possibility. But the way I look at it, you guys, was we were pretty much healthy, the like final 2 months of the season? Like how, and like I know James Jones and Matt Ishbia were preaching about continuity, and I agree. continuity is important. Chemistry and communication is super important. But how much freaking time do you need to build that chemistry and continuity? We were, like I said, we were fully healthy the last like 2 months of the season. And that's why, again, this locker room and all the stuff happening behind the scenes was so broken. And I was talking to a coworker of mine today. I was like, dude, Devin Booker's had like what? You know, like I said, six, 7 coaches in the last 10 years. Like, that's why it's like, does it really all fall on the coach? You know, I just, it's a, how do I say this? It's an ugly business to be in sometimes. Like, yeah, I'm sure the money's great, but I don't know if I would ever want to be a head coach in the NBA or heck in any sport. Because what did I say at the very start of the show? You could lose your job like that. Coaches know that when they're literally signing the papers. They know that. They can be fired like that. I made a video back in 2020, and you guys can even research this. I think his name was Butch Van Bredikoff or something like that. He was pretty much bumping heads with the godfather of Valley Sports, Jerry Colangelo, and he got fired after like 7 games. And that brings me to my next topic. I kind of wonder if maybe they should have just given Frank Vogel just a little bit longer. I don't know. And I know like a lot of you might be saying like, oh, well, Suns Geek, they wouldn't have listened to him, and locker room issues and behind the scenes stuff and the way Frank Vogel runs his offense. I know. But like, I kind of wonder if just maybe they should have given him just a little bit longer. And like, I kind of get it from both sides. Like, you want a new leader in there, as I've been saying, you want a new direction, blah, blah, blah. Like, you want your players to buy in, which I have some thoughts on that later. But like, I just wonder if they should have given him more time. And let's say we're 2 months into the season and we have a decent record at best, then maybe you fire him. But I don't know. Speaking of buying in, and this goes back to the leadership thing, I really do hope that Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, etc. were on those calls, or at least they called them separately and said, hey, what about Mike Budenholzer? Is that a good coach for you? First off, I really hope they did make those calls. Secondly, I hope that all the players they called were supportive of Mike Budenholzer. But I just hope that they buy in to what he is saying, or what he will say, I should say. And I hope they actually listen to him. And I hope we just see a better, first off, I hope we see a better overall product, but I hope we just see a better offensive scheme out there, a different play style. I'm not really too worried about us on defense, but I just want to see a better overall product, because the Phoenix Suns need to get the fans excited again. And that's an understatement, because I was pumped when we got Frank Vogel and started hiring like David Fitzdale. Like, I was hyped when we got him as one of our assistants. And like when we traded for like Eric Gordon, for example, or not traded, when we signed Eric Gordon, you know what I mean? Just like, they need to get us excited again. And Mike Budenholzer is going to have a lot. In fact, the whole Suns team, from top to bottom, from ownership to heck, I'm even going to point the finger at the ball boy. I don't even know the ball boy, but I'm going to point the finger at him. The ball boy has a lot of pressure. The whole Suns team has a lot of pressure. You guys think that I guess the expectations have been lowered, but there still is going to be super high expectations. And I think there's going to be even more eyes on the Suns team, and even more fingers being pointed, and even more, I guess you could say, attention, if you will. It is going to be a lot. Like, Mike Budenholzer and whoever he brings on as his staff members, they're going to have a lot of expectations, if you will. And again, I am trusting in Matt Ishbia. I know I sound like a Matt Ishbia fanboy, whatever you want to call me. I am still trusting in James Jones, although I think he is on the hot seat. And, you know, as my guy Legends Productions says, thank you for being here, by the way, man. He says, you build a culture by sticking through the struggles. And you know what? They talked about that too. Matt Ishbia and James Jones, they talked about that. They said, hey, maybe this playoff loss was good. Maybe whoever we bring back next year will be more connected. And as they use, like, you know, the continuity will help us going forward. So I kind of agree with that. And James Jones and Matt Ishbia, to their credit, talked about that. That's a great comment from my guy Legends. Thanks for being here, man. And again, thank you for everybody who is here tonight. We still got a little bit more to go, you guys. I got a little bit more to talk about. Okay. Let's see here. We're going to pull up some tweets to kind of react to, because again, if you're just joining me, I was literally last to the party. I had a very long day. You guys know the drill. Real life comes first. You've heard me say that before. Real life comes first, but I still had to go live and talk about this and give you guys my thoughts. So we're going to react to some stuff here. And again, I know this show's all over the place, but let's start off with what John Gambadoro from Arizona Sports was tweeting about earlier. And these tweets were like, from what I remember, I had a busy day at work, but like I remember these tweets were flying, you know, when when the news was announced, if you will. So here is John's Twitter. Let me make sure. Let me just pull these up so you guys can see it. I retweeted a bunch of these too. Just zoom in here a little bit. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this is John Gambadoro from Arizona Sports. And let's start from right here, you guys. Okay, there we go. So the first tweet was about 6 hours ago, 3:46 my time, May 9th. Can you guys see that okay? Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Yeah, you guys can see that. Okay. So he said, the head coaching change will not only change. Oh, sorry, let me try that again. The head coaching change will not be the only change the Suns. I can't read. I'm so sorry, you guys. You guys know the drill. I can't read. The head coaching change will not be the only change with the Suns. There will be a front office changes, not James Jones being replaced. So sorry if I butchered that, but he said that it's not just the coaching change that is going to be made. James Jones will not be replaced yet, but there's going to be some front office changes. That's interesting, because I was texting my friend Steve and we were saying, hey, maybe James Jones just needs like a little more help in the front office. Maybe he needs those guys like under him that can say, hey, like maybe we should look at this player and maybe we should bring on this person and maybe we should try this out. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, it's pretty much, I mean, Matt Ishbia has the final say, but it literally is Matt Ishbia. You got to assume probably Josh Bartelstein, who's our CEO, and then James Jones. Those are like the three like decision makers, if you will. But it wasn't just that tweet I wanted to react to. So Gambo's tweeting. This is the follow-up tweet. And again, we pretty much know this all by now, but the coaching search will be nothing like last year when they initially had a list of 10 candidates and whittled it down to 3. There are only 2 to 3 options, with Budenholzer most likely, and a decision will quickly be expected next week. So he said next week. And I kind of said that too. I was like, it's probably going to take about a week or so, maybe a few days, but who knows? We could all wake up tomorrow and Mike Budenholzer will be our coach officially. But let's keep going. Gamble had a couple other tweets. This one didn't make a lot of people happy. JJ Redick will not be a candidate. First off, I'm not going to lie. I actually do love JJ Redick. His podcast is really good. Both of them, I should say. I don't really listen to the one with LeBron that much, but his podcast that he does is really, really good. And I think JJ Redick would make a great coach, not for the Phoenix Suns necessarily, but just a great coach in general, because he did play in the league for many, many years, was a great college player and everything. And clearly, if you listen, even if you just listen to like 5 or 10 minutes of his podcast, he knows basketball. He knows not only how to play basketball, but he just knows the game of basketball. So I think he'd make a good coach, but not for the Suns. And then Gambo also goes on to say, for those asking, no, Isiah Thomas will not be part of the front office changes with the Phoenix Suns. And he's not talking about the Isiah Thomas who's on our team. He's talking about the legendary point guard Detroit Pistons. I think he's a current broadcaster, I believe, with NBA TV or something, but that Isiah Thomas, the older Isiah Thomas. So those are the tweets from Gambo. And then Flex from Jersey, as you guys may know from PHNX, he sort of had some similar tweets here. And again, I love Gambo. I love Flex from Jersey. They are connected. I know there's a lot of critics of my boy Flex from Jersey, but he's my boy. He is connected. And this is what he had to say. I think this tweet was interesting right here. He says, after a thorough process, the Suns ultimately decided to move on from Frank Vogel. I believe they absolutely made the right decision. Now they got to get a new coach, front office, and roster changes this summer. Now here's the main part right here. This isn't a one move fix. Multiple changes need to be made. Let me repeat that last part. This isn't a one move fix. Multiple changes need to be made. And I 100% agree. I have been preaching that since like game 3. Heck, I've been preaching that since before the playoffs even started. I was like, this needs to change, y'all. And that doesn't mean like blow it up. That doesn't mean like enter a full-on rebuild. No. And again, we'll talk about that later. We have all summer to talk about the directions the Suns can go. But clearly, the Suns are still going to be competing for a title. I feel like as long as Matt Ishbia is still this motivated and has enough money, we're going to be competing for titles for the next decade. So strap in, buckle up, Suns fans. I really do believe that under Matt Ishbia, as long as he's motivated and has the money, which he does, that we're going to be at least contending. I mean, is for the next 5 years safe to say? Because I've talked about this countless times on my channel. 1 year has now passed since we got KD. You can kind of call it like 1.5 years. Because, we got KD in 2023, but that was late in the season, blah, blah, blah. 1.5 years has passed since the KD trade happened. And obviously we were contenders before the KD trade happened, kind of, because we got embarrassed in the playoffs back-to-back years. By the way, Suns fans, don't forget that. Whether you love or hate the KD trade, just remember that we got embarrassed in back-to-back playoff appearances in the second round. So, just saying. And heck, even before we traded for Chris Paul, and even before we traded for Kevin Durant, for example, we were not very good. People tend to forget that. We were not very good when we traded for Kevin Durant. Just saying. Anyways. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is 1.5 years. We'll just say 1 year. 1 year is now passed since the Durant trade. So we have 2 more years. And Bradley Beal talked about this during the exit interviews. I'm sure Kevin Durant has said it too in his own words. This literally is a window, and the Suns need to do everything possible, as Flex's tweet says right here. Oh, sorry, that's a different tweet. We're going to react to that in a minute. Well, okay, thank you, Casey. Yeah, as Flex's tweet says right here, this isn't a one-move fix. Multiple changes need to be made. Like, I honestly feel like Matt Ishbia, James Jones, for as long as he's our GM. Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. I feel like they're playing the patient game. And as we know, and heck, I can be impatient too. Suns fans don't have a lot of patience, and I don't blame them. 56 years without a championship, I don't blame them. But I guess I want to encourage you guys to try to stay patient. I know it's difficult. Trust me, I do. But like, again, we have an owner that actually gives a crap and wants to win us a championship. And even though his press conference was met with a lot of mixed reviews, the guy wants us to win. He's going to hold himself accountable. He's going to hold his front office and coaching staff and players accountable. And he wants to win a championship. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's not. It is going to take time, Suns fans. And I'm just saying, I know that we've gone 56 years without a championship. I've been alive for a decent amount of it, but try to stay patient. It's a new decade. It's a new era. Heck, even today is a brand new day in Suns history, y'all. So just try to be patient. Let's react to a couple more things, then we'll probably wrap up the show. Like I said, Casey, when you get a chance, if you could pull up the tweet that was on there, and then we got a couple other tweets to react to. This was a tweet from Brandon Clean from Locked On Suns. He does a great job over there. I listen to his podcast. Great stuff over there from Brandon. But I did like this tweet here. And I kind of referenced this earlier, but I did tweet this, or retweet it, I should say. I think I retweeted it. One thing, now again, this is Brandon Clean's tweet here. One thing I like about Bud as a candidate for the Suns in his two most successful teams, he had Jeff Teague and Drew Holiday as their quote point guards. Definitely a lot of experience building a balanced offense without a traditional lead playmaker. And, you know, I've been saying that for a while. I was like, we don't even need like an all-star point guard. We just need a guy to come in here, you know, that's going to be able to calm things down when things are going nuts, that can be a good leader, that can set us up, that can get our big three to take a little load and pressure off, and to get that ball in their hands, because that's what Matt Ishbia and James Jones were talking about. Oh, well, you know, we don't want the ball out of Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker's hands. Like, getting a point guard would take the ball out of their hands. Well, maybe that's what they need, Matt Ishbia and James Jones. Maybe they need a guy like a Drew Holiday. I'm not saying we're going to go get Drew Holiday, because he just signed an extension with the Celtics. He's not going anywhere. But a Drew Holiday type point guard. We need some kind of point guard, some kind of quarterback for all you football people out there. We need a quarterback out there that will help calm things down and set our guys up on offense. And heck, maybe even be another threat out there. Like, I thought Mike Conley played pretty well against us, not only during the regular season, but in the playoffs. He did his part offensively, setting up his guys, being a leader out there, being a veteran. Like, we need that kind of a, you know, point guard. So I like that tweet from Brandon Clean. Shout out to him, man. And again, shout out to Locked On Suns. They do a great job. But another tweet I want to pull up here. Oops, what am I doing? Casey, whenever you get a chance, could you pull up Evan's tweet whenever you get a moment here? I'll just ramble on until that's pulled up. But another tweet I want to react to is, let's see. Okay, I'll pull it up real quick until it's, here we go. Give me a second here, you guys. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Casey. You beat me to it. Okay. So long tweet here from Evan. I'm not going to sit here and read the entire thing, but heck, we got to at least react to it since he decided to type all of this up. He says the Suns' long list of transactions since Matt Ishbia became owner only 15 months ago. First off, you guys, speaking of the calendar, unfortunately, Frank Vogel didn't even make it a full calendar year. Secondly, it's only been 15 months since Matt Ishbia became owner. That is insane, y'all. Like, I'm sorry, time flies. But yeah, here's the long list. I'm not going to sit here and read it to you guys. But man, look at all the moves that have happened since Matt Ishbia became owner. Like, that is insane. Excuse me. That is insane, y'all. And again, you guys are watching right now. If you're watching later, you can just pause the screen. You can react to it yourself. That is a huge list. And again, you guys, I know I sound like a Matt Ishbia fanboy, whatever. At least Matt Ishbia is trying. At least the dude is trying. He's in year 1, 15 months into the job. Like, he's trying, man. But at the end of the day, it kind of does fall on the coaches and the players. Like, I even said this. I was like, yeah, you guys can blame Frank Vogel all you want. And yes, he deserves to be blamed. I was like, at the end of the day, he's not out there playing. You know what I mean? Like, this really did fall on Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Like, they all deserve blame. You know, like, so at least Matt Ishbia is trying, man. I got to give him credit for that. All right, guys, let's see if there's anything else to react to. Let me just check my tweets here. Yeah, a couple more tweets. And Casey, I didn't send these to you, so I'll just make sure to pull them up. But let me just check my notes and see if I missed anything that I wanted to talk about. Frank Vogel is going to be getting paid like $20 million over the next 4 years, so congratulations to him. I hope Frank Vogel goes somewhere that is super relaxing and, you know, low key, as the kids call it, and just treats himself and just relaxes and unwinds. And I hope we see Frank Vogel back on the sidelines one day. But I don't blame him if he takes a lot of time off. Anyways, okay. Couple more tweets here. Let's see. What was I getting at? Okay, this one right here. I like this tweet from Sam Cooper. And I kind of just said this, so I'm not going to. I literally talked about this all live show long. But I do want to. You're going to hear me say it a lot, but I like the way Sam worded it here. I even quote tweeted him saying, yeah, Sam, this is a great tweet. I just love the way Sam said it. Reportedly, Frank had lost the respect of his locker room, which made this necessary. But I place just as much blame on the players' lack of serious attitude and leadership as I do on Frank himself. Another wild summer begins. So first off, again, I've been preaching that. Everything he just said there, that's what I've been saying too. It's what a lot of people have been saying. But the last part, another wild summer begins. Like, y'all, we are just getting started. Like, it is going to be a long summer, because not only does the Mike Budenholzer coaching thing have to be official, has to be made official, which I'm pretty sure it is, but he's got to hire his assistants, the people behind the assistants, etc. We're going to have a lot of Suns news, and yeah. And then obviously the roster. Now, real quick, while Casey's going to pull up another tweet here in a minute, take your time with that tweet, Casey, but I do want to read it though. For those of you who may not know, I'm just giving you guys a little refresher. We have the 22nd overall pick in this year's draft. And guess what, haters? Yes, to all the haters and the cliche narrative people out there who are just like, oh, the Suns don't have any picks. The Suns have no picks, blah, blah, blah. Guess what, haters? We actually do have draft picks. We actually have one this year. But don't get attached to it. And I'm going to save that for another live show. That's a completely different conversation. The draft isn't even until June 26th. So we got plenty of time to talk draft. But guess what? We actually do have picks. But, and look, I know that there's a lot of talented players in this draft. Even though this is kind of like a weaker draft class, you can always find talent. I've even had people send me DMs or tweets saying, hey, like, you should check out this guy. I probably will, because I have nothing but time on my hands now. But I'm probably not going to make a video about that player because, again, you can go back and listen to it. I am 99.9% sure James Jones and Matt Ishbia will trade this pick. Who knows? They could be on the phone right now already discussing it. I don't know. I don't have sources on that, but I'm just saying I feel like they're like, hey, I want the 22nd overall pick. Don't get attached to this draft class, Suns fans. Don't get attached to our 22nd overall pick. I hate to be negative. I hate to tell you guys how it is, but it's true. We are probably not going to draft for a very long time. At least, until this window closes and we move on to the post-KD era. Now, Gerald Bourguet from PHNX summed it up perfectly. There are some years where the Suns don't have a pick at all, but in the years that we do have a pick, it just depends on where they land. So we're going to react to one more tweet, and then my producer extraordinaire says we got a couple funny tweets to end on, and then maybe we'll chat with Casey for a minute. But I'm going to take a sip of my water, so cheers. Oh, delicious. Again, you guys, you already know the drill. We're past an hour. Please crush that like button. Share the show. Share the show with your grandma, your cousin, your coworker, your neighbor. Just go knock on their door and just say, hey, you should check out Suns Geek on YouTube. I mean, they'll probably like slam the door in your face and call the cops, but hey, at least you're promoting the channel. I would really appreciate it. Just share the show, y'all. And tell people about Suns Geek, because we're going to be live a lot, especially when these coaches start getting hired and trade rumors start popping. Well, not really trade rumors, but Suns news starts popping up and all that. We're going to be live a lot, y'all. That's why, like, the last 11 days, I didn't really do many videos because I was like, dude, there's like legit nothing to talk about. At least that's how I looked at it. Anyways. Okay. Let's do one more tweet, y'all. All right, here we go. Now, I'm not going to sit here and read this entire tweet, but it is a good tweet. This is, and I apologize if I butcher his last name, Steven Perjone. I hope I said that right. I think he recently joined PHNX to cover the Phoenix Mercury. So congratulations to him. He's a great follow. Big X's and O's, guys. Go follow him, especially during the regular season. He's always uploading clips and a great follow. But I really want to focus on this kind of bottom part of the tweet here. Part of it was personnel, but a solid portion was also from the big three, from shot profile, efficiency there, to approach to the offense and the flow or lack there of it, etc. But here's kind of the bottom part. Making a coaching change has to come with a change in mentality and approach from their big three. Key word there, mentality from the big three. And heck, approach is a big word too, because we saw there was lots of games where the Suns just legit came out flat, especially the big three. From their big three for it to work with whoever their next head coach and assistants are. It starts with them and the tone they collectively set. So let me just read that bottom part. Making a coaching change has to come with a change in mentality and approach from their big three for it to work with whoever their next head coach is and assistants. It starts with them and the tone they collectively set. That is a great tweet from Steven there. Again, I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Great follow on Twitter. Seriously, go follow him right now. Did I miss anything, you guys? Was there anything I didn't talk about? Guess what, you guys? We got all off season to talk about it. Again, I know the last 11 days, I haven't done many videos, but that all changed today because now we got lots of stuff we can talk about. And I'll be probably clipping things from this show and uploading it. So we'll have lots of content. And heck, we might know more news tomorrow or in the next 48 hours. So we're going to react to some funny tweets. I'm going to put on my headphones and we'll bring in our producer extraordinaire, Casey, if he wants to join. We'll bring him in, then we'll wrap up the show in a couple minutes, y'all. But let's react to a couple funny tweets and then we'll wrap up the show, y'all. So first one here, and Casey, whenever you're ready, I'll bring you back on, man. And again, shout out to Casey, man. Thank you for helping us with our show today. Are you good, Casey?
I'm here. Hi.
Cool, man. Cool. Let's react to this tweet, shall we? I love it. I retweeted this earlier. Does that look good? Yeah, that looks okay. Can we do this? Nope. Because then that. Oh, there we go. Perfect. There
you don't need to show me. It's fine.
Shout out to Ridiculous Cage, who also is a great follow on Twitter. He says, "Wow, just spotted Mike Budenholzer at Filiberto's. It's happening." I love it. That is so good, y'all. Mike Budenholzer holding his championship trophy. Hopefully one day it's a Suns championship trophy. And then they can all go celebrate it for Filiberto's. Do they have a Filiberto's where you live, Casey?
I've never heard of it, so I don't know.
It's kind of like, I'm going to say it, iconic in Arizona, and it's amazing.
I'm going to look it up right now. I don't know.
Really good.
It's Arizona's favorite Mexican food, so I'm guessing it's only in Arizona.
Yeah, it's really damn good, man. They need to expand, and they're really good. So yeah, shout out to them, man. Did you say you had one more tweet?
Yes, I do. I can just switch over right now.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing this tweet.
Yeah, I scrolled through your Twitter feed to try to get some like lighthearted ones to end on.
The Fall Guy.
Very serious. You do a good job. Very serious. I want to kind of end on a light.
Thank you. But again, man, that's why I feel bad for Frank Vogel, man. Like, he literally is the fall guy. I feel bad, man. I don't know. I think that's it, man. I don't really got anything else. I will say this, because Casey, I know you're a big Marvel guy. I am hyped for Deadpool 3. That's an understatement. Oops, sorry. Actually, there we
go. I can't wait. Oh my gosh. The trailers look so amazing. Yeah.
I'm pumped, man.
It could turn the MCU around. It's been kind of going downhill recently, but
I responded to a tweet the other day because Marvel was like, "Hey, we're only going to pump out like 2 movies a year or like 2 TV shows a year," and I was like, "Please, Deadpool 3, let this be the movie that is like quality over quantity." You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So I have high hopes for Deadpool 3, just like I have high hopes for Mike Budenholzer and the Suns' big 3 next year. But anyways, so yeah, man, Casey, you got anything else? You got any thoughts on like anything we've talked about or anything else going on? Like what's up, man? Like, this is just us chatting, man.
I know the whole Frank Vogel signing was like 50-50 amongst the fans. Like, some people really were happy about it. Some people were a little optimistic about it. I'm not a Suns fan, so I just kind of saw, I was like, oh, that's a new coach after Monty Williams left, and we see how well he's doing right now. I don't know much about Budenholzer, to be honest. I know he was a Hawks coach for some time. I remember that's when
Yeah.
I first heard of him was when he
And
was on the
those Hawks teams were really good, by the way. Don't forget, NBA fans, those teams were really damn good. I think one year they won 60 games.
Something like that. Yeah, they were. And then they have like 3 or 4 All-Stars that year too, or something like that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That was before
Korver,
the NBA changed, but yeah, it was those teams.
And there was Kyle Korver, and people were like kind of like surprised that he made it. So
that's why Grayson Allen should have been an All-Star this year.
So
you literally have the same numbers.
So should have Domantas Sabonis, but we see how that turned out.
Oh God. Don't even get you started.
I'm
bro.
a Kings fan, if anyone doesn't know, by the way.
Yeah, Casey's a Kings fan.
I should maybe rock this right now.
There you go.
Headphones on.
I was cheering for you guys, man. I really was, man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm not just saying that because you're my friend, but I was cheering for them, man.
Debatable. Yeah, you were a big like Keon supporter when he went off. You're like, I'm all in.
I jumped on that Keon. Dude's band. Dude, Phoenix Suns, if anybody's listening, go get a guy like Keon Ellis right now. Do it right now.
Keon Ellis.
I mean, guys can't be signed right now, but just do it. Just break the rules. Sign Keon Ellis.
No, please keep him with me. I really appreciate him.
Keon Ellis.
I actually made a graphic one day supporting him, and then he liked it and everything. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I want Keon to stay. Please don't take him from me.
He's so good.
I'm gonna cry.
He played so good in those games, man.
Too bad we couldn't just finish it. Unfortunately, we beat the Warriors though.
Hell yeah. Ended the Warriors dynasty.
Oh man. As a former fan during that time, with how things ended with that franchise for me, I am over the moon with how the King just whooped them. And I'm just so ecstatic.
Like we said, you guys, we kind of wanted to end the show on a lighter note because this show got a little deep at times. But you know what, you guys, you already know I'm very honest with you guys. I always will be honest. I will tell you how it is, even if it's not what you want to hear. Heck, even if it's not what I want to hear. And I appreciate this comment from Mark Jackson. Said, Brandon, you give it all with your heart. You are a true fan. Thank you, sir. That's a great comment. And seriously, I know I missed.
Mark.
What?
Shout out to Mark. He's always here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Every time I'm here, he's always here. So shout out to you, Mark.
He's a real one, man. And real talk, thank you to everybody who's still like, we got over 147 people in here and we're just talking whatever. I will get to some of the bottom comments. If I missed your comment, I apologize. Tweet me or something, and I'll try to answer it. I'll try to do it next live show. Let's get to a couple things here.
Or just comment again. Comment again.
Yeah,
so
or just comment it again, like real quick, because we're probably only going to go live for like 5 more minutes. But anyways, real quick. Do I trust James Jones? Yes, but I cautiously trust him because, like I said earlier, I think James Jones is on the hot seat. I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Let's move on. He's on the hot seat, in my opinion. Abraham has a good question. Any thoughts on how our new G League team can help with our NBA team? Great question. This question would be better though if we actually were like, hey, we're going to keep our draft picks and develop young talent. But like Keon Ellis, I believe, by the way, I think he came from the G League. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But what I'm trying to say is young players can just sprout up like that. So whenever we do get our G League team back, which is in the foreseeable future, you never know which one of those guys could, maybe the Suns are like, hey, we got a couple injuries. Let's bring them on. Let's bring somebody on up. You never know if those guys could be a high impact player. So many players have come from the G League and have thrived and are still playing in the league today and are like all stars. So yeah, I'm excited for our G League team. And thank you to Saul for this comment. Geek, always keeping it real. And to answer Saul's comment, my brain is fried. I don't know if I really can answer this right now. Maybe on the next live show. I don't think the big three is going anywhere yet. Let me repeat that. I don't think the big three is going anywhere yet. But you've heard me say this millions of times, Suns fans. Anything could happen. We could all wake up in like 5 days from now and then bam, blockbuster trade. bam, the NBA's future looks different because of this one trade. And I will say this, guys, the playoffs are still going on, so nothing's going to happen right now. Like the closest is going to happen is a week before the draft. So we still got like a month, y'all. Teams aren't thinking about a blockbuster trade right now. They're thinking about winning a championship. Heck, so are the Suns, but they can't do anything right now. They can't even sign a player. All they can do is the front office stuff and coaching stuff. Joseph, I pretty much just go for it, man. Sorry, man. I was going on my rant there.
No, you're good. You're good. I just want to share my thoughts on the last question. Sorry.
Yeah. What was the last? Yeah, the big three.
The top three.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be KD and Brooklyn all over again. It's going to be like in the wire. He's not going to want to. He's going to change it. Like once we get the season starts, he's not going to want to be traded. Then halfway through, he's going to get traded.
Could you imagine?
Just like in Brooklyn, like those whole like question if he's coming back, and then he decided, and then like partway through the year, he got traded to the Suns.
And you'll have to be my producer again because we'll have to react to like 90 million tweets.
If I'm not working like 5 billion hours at that point, so it just happened.
Don't worry, I'll call your boss and I'll say, hey, I need to borrow Casey for the night.
You guys pay my rate.
So bad. That sounded so bad. I'm sorry, my brain went to mush.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you can. I'm sorry, y'all. It's been such a long... Dude, I had such a shitty day. I'm going to be real with everybody who's watching. I had such a shitty day before this, guys. Work sucks sometimes, y'all. Like, Jesus. But that's why this live show was so good. This was so therapeutic for me, you know? It was a good show, Casey. We had a good show, man.
I think so.
I couldn't have done it without you, man.
That's a question we should probably talk about. Are you excited for the Olympics with KD and Book?
Yeah. Yeah, because we get summer basketball.
We got some tea going. I'm just
we get summer basketball, so let's all be thankful. Even if there was no Suns players, we get summer basketball. So hell yeah, I'm excited for that. And hell yeah, go America, Team USA all the way. But like America. But I'm just like, if KD and Booker come back better leaders after the Olympics, then hell yeah. And I will say this, a lot of players who played in the Olympics, Anthony Edwards, come back and have amazing seasons most of the time, kind of, sort of.
You can see it from both ends, though. They can continue the momentum, or that could be too much work for them. They get in. I don't want to say the I word, but they could see some issues,
or they're just super tired and like, why the hell did I do that? Why didn't I take time off?
Or they just whine like LeBron does. Sorry, was that out loud?
Final thought on that too. Not LeBron. Or actually, I have to troll somebody here because somebody pissed me off on Twitter the other day. So I'm just going to troll this person. LeBron James is coming to Phoenix. You heard it here on Suns Geek. Anyways.
Was that me that got pissed? Is that what?
No.
I told you?
Somebody got mad at me on Twitter because I won't lie. I was spamming the LeBron to Phoenix thing, and I mean actual spamming. So that's my bad.
You messaged me out of nowhere. LeBron in it.
But that person got mad at me and tweeted me about it, and then I just threw it back in his face and then blocked him. So I'm just trolling him again. Don't know who that person is, but I blocked him. I know I sound petty for doing that, but it's true. But yeah, LeBron to Phoenix. But my thoughts, what was I going with all that?
Your thoughts on the Olympics?
I don't know what I was going to say. I don't know. Whatever.
I brought up like the whole I could like make people tired, maybe make the momentum will go through, and then I said something about or LeBron just whines like a little baby. And then you went on that rant. I don't know. I'm just trying to help
you. Like came out of nowhere.
I'm trying to help you like try to gear back. Maybe I don't know, but
it probably wasn't that important. I'll talk about it next.
LeBron's not my goat.
That's a good way to end the show. It's okay. I seriously stared into the camera.
I'm just laughing.
I'm just gonna solo lay out you right there and get that epic stare.
LeBron's not my goat. Michael Jordan all day. Light the beam. And I don't know what else.
Excuse me, sir. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, sir. Well, Casey.
Michael B. Jordan, right? Is that who it is?
Great actor. Great director. Directed Creed 3, I believe. Any final thoughts, Casey? Anything you want to say? Where can they find you, man? I'll put the link in the description afterwards.
You can find me right here.
Okay.
Twitter, Instagram, Proline Mockups. If you need cheap sports templates, you can go to Proline Mockups. I have a discount code on my Twitter. You have to go find it though. I'm not gonna make it easy for you.
I will link it down below. Casey,
I'll
seriously.
I'll put the code in the description for he'll do it.
Seriously, thank you, Casey. A million times thank you. Couldn't have done this without you. And please forgive me, Suns fans, for going live so late, if you will. I was literally the last person to talk about this. It was a long fucking day. Excuse my language. And things happen.
Watch your fucking mouth.
Real life comes first. And to end the show, LeBron James in Phoenix this summer. It's happening, y'all. LeBron is coming to Phoenix, baby. All right, you guys, you know the drill. Be nice to each other. Be patient with each other. Spread positivity and love into the world. And please, Suns fans, don't give up on the Suns. Be patient. Fingers crossed. I love you guys. God bless y'all. Peace out. Win or lose, Suns for life. And go Suns.